Um, and then I think the other thing that I've got is well, maybe it's Brad. We played a bunch of Minecraft Dungeons. Jan, you were there
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
yeah,
some of that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
want to
still,
hear about
I'm
this.
still playing
That's
it.
out today.
I've got like 2 levels left for some reason.
Really stretching it out, huh?
I mean, yeah, like what is it?
Not a long game.
You know what? I quite honestly can't play more than one level at a time. I find it enjoyable for just about the duration of one level, and then I get to the end and I go back to the town and like cash my stuff in, and I'm like, I think I'm good. I'm gonna walk away from this for a little bit. Maybe I'll come back and play another one later.
So the last level is a pain in the ass.
Were you
It's like
playing on the normal difficulty or like the boosted one?
there is no boosted one for me anymore. Like, so that game is weird. So it's like a Diablo for people who
Yeah.
haven't seen
Yes.
it.
Quick look on the site.
Yeah, quick look up on the site right now, Minecraft Dungeons. And so when you first go into a mission, it shows this like 6 tier, like this 6 levels of difficulty that you can choose from. And so you can make it harder, you can make it a little easier, and they show like, oh, you're gonna get more loot, but like, oh, it's gonna be 1.4x difficulty or whatever. And I feel like how that should work is that it always stays at a default and you decide where you want to take it. But as you equip better gear, it moves you up the list.
Right.
And so I'm at power level 30 or 31 or whatever now. That's my gear score or whatever. And so that is the default is now the hardest difficulty setting. I can drop it down one if I want to make it easier. But there's kind of nowhere to go from there. Well, except it unlocks additional tiers of like you can play in adventure mode or apocalypse mode or whatever after you beat the game. So it has something there to have you go through it again. But I thought it was strange that it wasn't just like, here's this scaling default difficulty.
Right, the way that it scales difficulty is just by seemingly increasing numbers. That's all I see it doing when you move that thing up.
It seems to be,
it seems like that can just kind of go.
Yeah, and so it's just strange that it doesn't say like, this is the default, it's going to be 1x difficulty, and if you want 1.4, go here. If you want 1.7, go here. If you want 0.7, go down here. It's just a strange way to handle it that I think misses the point of the difficulty settings in Diablo 3. And so like I don't have anywhere to go. This is it. This is the difficulty I'm on. I can drop it down one, which I don't know. I might do. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna play it. So the last mission in that game is significantly longer and more coated in enemies than the missions that come before it. And as such, it feels like you could go into that game with a build that is not really compatible with the number of enemies that you're being handed. So I ended up with a big, gigantic fucking claymore that had a very slow 3-hit attack that like. It was very damaging, but when you're being swarmed by a bunch of weaker enemies, it's such a slow attack that you're just kind of fucked. And
yeah,
it's not a game where you're getting an abundance of gear all the time. You can go buy random gear, but like the random gear I'm getting at power level 30, it's dropping stuff out of there that's like level 24 and stuff that's just not super viable for that level. And it's just a weird. So I kind of, it seemed like the right way would be like, oh, I'm going to go back and play an earlier mission at my current power level and try to get a drop of a faster weapon. And so I did that. And now I'm like, do I really want to go back and do this all again? Like, I guess.
Have you ever bought an item from one of the vendors that actually turned out to be usable?
A couple times. Okay. Yeah.
I've dumped a bunch of money into those things and it's always below my level. And it's just like, what is the point of this system?
It's weird.
I don't know. That's just so sparse in that game.
Yeah, and I think that game doesn't do the Minecraft name justice. I think it's set in a Minecraft looking world with Minecraft looking enemies, but there's no blocks get deformed at all in that game.
Fascinating. Wow.
Creepers blow up and they do not take chunks out of the world when they go.
Blasphemy.
You get a pickaxe in that game, but it's just a weapon. It's just another weapon, and it's ridiculous. So. I think they just didn't do a great job of capturing what, in my view, makes Minecraft. Yeah. But also on top of that, they didn't go far enough in the direction of like having a good story. Like the game has very little, like it's got a little setup before you go in a mission where it's like the main bad guy, the arch illager, who is completely ill as fuck.
I want to be an illager.
I would love to be an illager. He's using this area to build bad stuff. You should go blow up this area. And that's it. There's no connective tissue from mission to mission. There's just
there's a witch here. She's got to kill her before she works with the Arch-Illager.
Yeah, and it's very short. Like I stumbled my way. Like in the prep for the quick look, I just sat down and played some, and ended up 2/3 of the way through the game before I knew it. And it's just a strange.
It's probably like what, a 5-hour playthrough or something like that.
Yeah, probably something like that.
If you're able to do it in one sitting, you could easily do it in one sitting. It's just like I said, I don't feel like there's enough meat on the bone to sit there for more than one level at a time.
Yeah, and it's got local co-op and stuff. So maybe if you're playing with a kid and you're doing stuff there's ways to do that. But it's one of those games where I think like the knee-jerk thing you'll probably hear from people is like, oh, it's for kids. But like, so is Minecraft.
Yeah.
Kids play Minecraft and build all kinds of crazy shit. They learn all these complex systems. They know I don't know how fucking redstone works. They can build shit with redstone. I don't know how to do any of that shit.
These kids are building computers over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's really that attitude, I think, really sells kids short. And I don't know. I expected more out of it.
I was telling my little cousin who's 12, he was very excited for this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I told he wound up watching a bit of the quick look, and I told him like, yeah, I don't know if you should pick it up, buddy. It's a little short. And then he goes like, oh, but I just want to pick up stuff and just like kill things with my friends. And then I told him like, what about Diablo?
Yo, you like the devil?
Gotta introduce them early.
Yeah. And then I think I agree. Like, it's doing kids a disservice because like kids are so fucking can get so weird and clever with the structures they make in Minecraft. For there to be like no tie into that stuff is a big bummer.
It's not a terrible game. Like it's
no.
It's mildly enjoyable. I wish there was more there. We should absolutely point out that it's only $20.
Yeah, and it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. It's if you get the $30 one, you get both DLC packs that are coming up soon. So like it's the most you can spend on it is like $30.
Yeah, it is not a super expensive game, but it's not good, because that game would not be worth anything more than that.
Also, I'm a little confused how this thing conforms to like Microsoft's way of doing things now. Like, I couldn't figure it out for sure, but I don't think you buy this once and get both. I think you buy it on the Xbox or the Windows Store. I could be wrong about that.
Huh.
Like they have separate entries in the Windows Store, and as opposed to like most games like show like buy this play, and the platform supported will be like Windows, PC, and Xbox. This has two separate versions. Also, I fired it up on the Xbox for the first time last night. I was like, I'm close to the end. Maybe I'll just flop down on the couch and bang out the rest of this. And my save did not come over. I booted up on Xbox and it was like, hey, make a new character.
What?
Yes, it does not have cross save. So,
that's bizarre,
totally.
man.
Yeah.
What?
It does share achievements though. Like I already had all my achievements from from the
worst
PC.
case scenario.
Totally. I had a bunch of achievements unlocked from the PC, but I did not have my character, and it was just like, what? I thought that everything they make is supposed to do that now.
Yeah, well, it's it's supposed to be coming out on Switch. So they sent us review codes for it that worked on both PC and Xbox.
Right. So I think those may have just redeemed both versions of the game. Like people in chat are saying it doesn't have play anywhere, which is bizarre because they own Minecraft. Like that's a first party game.
Why would they? I wonder if it's because of like, hey, I wonder if there's something about the deals they're doing with other console manufacturers to put it out everywhere that get in the way of that.
Maybe
I don't.
I guess maybe
I don't understand why that would happen. That sounds like some arcane business deal that maybe we will find out about someday. But that seems like a really strange. That seems like a really strange thing. And so I guess I should also point out, like, it is cross-play between those platforms, but not with Switch and anything else. Like no non-Microsoft platforms, but they're gonna roll that in at some point down the line. But the idea of being interested in this game somewhere down the line, once you have played through it once, that's kind of a tough sell.
Yeah,
this game seems like, hey, it's on Game Pass, and you should fuck with it. It's polished, for what it is. It's neat.
They nail the look. It looks really nice.
Yeah, those blocks, isometric perspective, like they did it. But it's just thin, it's just too thin. And I think the weapons at your disposal and the upgrades that you get, there's maybe not enough variety there. Like at the point I'm at in the game, like I'm seeing the same stuff over and over again. It's just like, here's a higher level version of this. Here's, hey, these artifacts you can equip. Here's a higher level version of the summonable pet wolf that will fight alongside you. And you collect souls and shoot out like a Cyclops style mega beam thing.
It is kind of fun to find ways to synergize build stuff. I want some AoE here and some healing and some blah blah blah. Like those abilities are pretty fun to use.
Yeah, but you don't have enough inventory slots to like really maintain, and also you spend enchantment points on your items to give them better abilities, and you'll find yourself basically with enough enchantment points, unless you're really just grinding, to equip more or less like one full set of gear. So I think that's how I found myself at the end of the game with like a weapon that was just not good for the number of enemies that were being thrown at me. And I had no backup weapon because
to get those enchantment points back, you have to destroy the previous weapon.
Yeah. You dust your existing weapon to get the enchantment points back, so you can enchant your new favorite weapon. And that weapon was fine until I got to that point, and whatever. So it's there's just like a lot of awkward stuff around the edges of it that you look at and think like this could be better. This clearly could be handled a little bit better. And for as long as it was in development and announced and all that stuff, I'm surprised that some of that stuff that seems like no-brainer kind of stuff that they would do, it's just kind of not there. And it's strange in that way, but not terrible. It's just kind of I guess.
Right out of the box on the world map, there's a fat like, stay tuned for the first Islands DLC pack or whatever. Like they're straight up saying as soon as you boot it up, like, hey, there's more on the way. So like, I've seen people suggest like, look at the way that they support real Minecraft. Maybe this will get a similar level of post-release stuff added on over time. Like there's no way to know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But
they turned Diablo 3 around.
Yeah, and if you look at like Sea of Thieves, there's still a lot of, they have added a lot of stuff to Sea of Thieves in a way that I guess I would not have thought that they would have kept with it. So if they keep with this and keep adding stuff, but the idea that they already have a spot on the map where it's like, here's where the stuff you buy will go, says to me they've got a plan for that stuff, and then we'll see. But I don't know.
There's some cool shit in Sea of Thieves, by the way. I guess none of you guys were part of the streams we've been doing off and on, but like there's some full on like mini dungeon, like mini raid type stuff in there with like a bunch of team coordination and
cool.
Some cool story stuff. Like they did some stuff with that thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do they ever add any? Well, I guess it's just not that game, right? I was gonna say they ever add any meaningful progression.
No, like that's the thing. We did this. It was probably a 2-ish hour quest line from sailing island, like tracking down clues and then getting to this big dungeon and having to go through the whole thing with a bunch of encounters and stuff. And then at the end of it, it's just like, here's some money and a new sail for your ship. There is not like, yes, it's not that game. It's not that game. There is no +3 to your new cutlass or anything like that, which I would be all about it if they had that.
Well, I think anything that just kind of changed up, like I just didn't like the core combat.
The combat is pretty stiff.
So,
which is funny because that dungeon we did had a bunch of combat encounters in it.
Really? Jeez.
It gets a little hairy.
Yeah.